The second season of the HBO television series Boardwalk Empire premiered on September 25, 2011 and concluded on December 11, 2011, consisting of 12 episodes. The series was created by Terence Winter and based on the book Boardwalk Empire, The Birth, High Times and Corruption of Atlantic City by Nelson Johnson. Set in Atlantic City, New Jersey, during the Prohibition era, the series stars Steve Buscemi as Enoch Nucky Thompson, a political figure who rose to prominence and controlled Atlantic City, New Jersey, during the Prohibition period of the 1920s and 1930s. The second season takes place between February and August 1921. Cast: Maine, Jack Houston and Gretchen Mol were promoted to series regulars for the second season after appearing in several episodes during the first season. Steve Buscemi as Enoch Nucky Thompson, Michael Pitt as James Jimmy Darmody, Kelly MacDonald as Margaret Schroeder, Michael Shannon as Nelson Van Alden, Shea Wyam as Elias Eli Thompson, Alexa Palladino as Angela Darmody, Michael Stillbarg as Arnold Rothstein, Stephen Graham as Al Capone, Vincent Piazza as Charlie Luciano, Paz de la Huerta as Lucy Danziger, Michael Kenneth Williams as Albert Chalky White, Anthony LaCierra as Eddie Kessler, Paul Sparks as Michael Mickey Doyle Kozik, Jack Houston as Richard Harrow, Gretchen Mol as Gillian Darmody, Dabney Coleman as Commodore Louis Koestner. Recurring plot: the second season begins in January 1921. Jimmy, Eli, and the Commodore move along with their plot to remove Nucky from power. Nucky has suspected a plot, especially after a Ku Klux Klan attack on Chalky White's warehouse and Jimmy's increasingly distant attitude. The Commodore's faction decides to frame Nucky for election fraud, vengeance for the Commodore's own imprisonment for similar charges. A heavily pregnant Lucy is forced into living with Van Alden until the baby arrives. She eventually gives birth to a girl, before leaving the child with Van Alden. After discovering his secret, Van Alden's wife, Rose, asks for a divorce. In desperate need of money, and due to having a vendetta against Thompson, Van Alden agrees to supply evidence that could further prove Nucky's guilt. Jimmy attempts to make allies with powerful criminals, such as Arnold Rothstein and Manny Horvitz. Although Rothstein does not make a business deal with Jimmy, Manny takes a liking to him until the relationship turns sour. Margaret meets Owen Sleater, who has come from Ireland to assist Nucky. She is attracted to him, but does not act upon these feelings immediately. She eventually sleeps with him after visiting her family in New York. When her daughter, Emily, contracts polio, Margaret is plagued with guilt over her past sins, which include living with the man who ordered her husband's death. Jimmy reluctantly orders a hit on Nucky upon the insistence of Eli. This event, along with his upcoming trial, forces Nucky to resign. Jimmy has a short-lived and unsuccessful reign as boss of Atlantic City, while Nucky uses the time to get out of his predicament. Manny Horvitz, meanwhile, murders Angela, Jimmy's wife in revenge. Rothstein sets Nucky up with his lawyer, while Van Alden flees to Cicero, Illinois after the death of his former partner is brought up, and Jimmy, high on heroin, murders the Commodore. After having lost his wife, Jimmy tries to fix all that he ruined, and Nucky marries Margaret so she cannot testify against him. After the charges are dropped, Nucky is able to forgive Eli but not Jimmy for the plot against his life. He then murders Jimmy, insisting that he is not seeking forgiveness. When Margaret learns that Nucky most likely did kill Jimmy, she responds by giving a land grant that Nucky was going to use for roads to Atlantic City to the Catholic Church. Episodes: Reception, Critical reception. The second season of Boardwalk Empire received overwhelmingly positive reviews from critics. On the review aggregator website Metacritic, the second season scored 81/100 based on 14 reviews. Another aggregator website, Rotten Tomatoes, reported 85% of critics gave the second season a certified fresh rating, based on 13 reviews with an average score of 8/10. With the site consensus stating Boardwalk Empire delves deeper into both its intriguing supporting players and its rich tapestry of moral ambiguity. Awards and nominations. The second season received 12 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for the 64th Primetime Emmy Awards and won 4 altogether. The series received its second consecutive nomination for Outstanding Drama Series, while Steve Buscemi was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. The series won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Art Direction for a Single Camera Series, Outstanding Cinematography for a Single Camera Series for 21, and Outstanding Special Visual Effects Television Miniseries, Movie, or Special for Georgia Peaches at the 64th Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Awards. Tim Van Patten won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series for To the Lost. References. External links, official website, list of Boardwalk Empire episodes at the Internet Movie Database, list of Boardwalk Empire episodes at TV.com.